Is there a burning question?
Identity. Is there a burning question I want to ask?
Or, yeah, here.
I thought it would be more interesting to talk about addiction.
Addiction, okay.
But not in a big general medical point of view.
Yeah.
I'm not a drug addict, except
Okay.
that I smoke. And except
So
that
you're a
occasionally
drug
I drink.
addict because you're addicted to nicotine, and nicotine is a drug.
So that makes me by definition addicted. It's a hard word.
No, I don't bring definitions, but nicotine is a drug.
Yes.
And you are addicted to it.
Yes.
Okay, so you're addicted to a drug. Whether you're a drug addict or not, I'm not sure, but that's terminology.
But if you, I mean, any smoker would laugh at that argument. You calling me a drug addict. They would rule that out. They
I'm
would,
not so caught up on words.
but if you look, it's a hard word. You use the word
okay,
drug
you're not
addict.
a drug addict, you're a cigarette addict.
Okay, if you're gonna tell somebody, hey, Goran is a drug addict, they're gonna look at me like, what, he
It's
is?
true, that's true. Drug addict,
But they
by
will think that I'm
definition-
using God knows what, that I'm using cocaine or heroin or that I'm doing crack, which I'm not doing. All I'm doing is I'm smoking cigarettes.
Okay. Okay, fine.
It's a great felony. Billions of people are doing it.
Whatever.
Alright.
So,
Okay, I am, but I am addicted to cigarettes.
that's a big step. That's a big declaration.
Okay. Me admitting
Because
that I
there are
am.
many people who smoke cigarettes,
Yeah.
and they say they're not addicted to it.
Sure I am. Because I can't control it. I'm gonna pick up a pack of cigarettes or take out cigarettes several times per day. Sometimes me believing that I choose to do that, but very often I'm just doing it automatically. Especially when I'm doing something or I'm under stress or I'm not aware of my own actions. This motion, this movement, taking out a cigarette, lighting it, which I'm so desperately trying to do now, but you're not allowing me.
I didn't disallow you. I
Yeah.
just
Like in 15 minutes I will have to do it because I
I
feel
asked
like
you in a friendly way not to do it during the show.
yeah, it's very direct.
But it's interesting because right now you want to smoke.
Yes.
Okay. So just scan your body. Just have a look at your stomach, at your legs. Not physically, but just inside.
It's not
And
arousing.
Just see how they feel. There is some craving, isn't there?
Right now.
There's like a drive towards something,
Yes.
towards that pack of cigarettes. It's being pulled that way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's craving. Now take a deep breath.
What are we doing? Okay. Okay.
I mean, that by itself just loosens up a little bit the craving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your body is dependent on the cigarette, which is it's not dependent on the tar, it's dependent on the nicotine, because that's the drug, and your nervous system is dependent on that. So that's one type of dependence.
It is.
And if you don't smoke for 2-3 days, you will crave it, and it'll just fall off the physical
It will.
aspect.
Very quickly. 2-3 days.
Exactly.
A week, it starts getting out of your head as well.
Exactly. You clean out your system from the.
But the
junk.
physical habit, that stays. And it's very easy to slip back into that.
I'm not so sure about this. I've heard this argument about that my hands are used to picking it up. I'm not so sure, because I investigated this and found out that there's just 2 types of dependence involved in this habit. One is the physiological dependence, that your central nervous system is dependent on the nicotine, and nicotine interacts with other drugs. And that's why I was telling you, if you drink alcohol or if you drink coffee, you will crave cigarettes more. And that's one of the things which makes smoking...
That is proving chemically or what?
Well, okay, look, there are three types of drugs in general, 3 categories. There's stimulants,
yes,
depressants, and hallucinogenics. Some drugs like nicotine, they act both as an opposite to stimulants and as an opposite to depressants. Alcohol is a depressant on the central nervous system. When you drink, you depress the nervous system, and then you want to smoke to pick it up. So it acts as a stimulant against the depressant. And when you drink coffee, which is a stimulant, the nicotine acts as a depressant. You hype yourself up by drinking coffee, and then you take a cigarette to cool yourself up.
Okay.
So ultimately
I can accept that. Sounds reasonable.
I mean, I heard this, I saw this, and then I also heard some doctors talk about the same thing. And that's what it makes the habit so nasty.
Yeah.
Because so we're all talking physiological dependence at the moment.
We're not talking about social
or psychological.
No, that's not about. So these this dependence, or the intermixing of these habits, smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, or having a drink, an alcohol drink. You do this when you're with people, socially. That's what people do when they get together. Often, when people like you and me sitting here talking, if either of us were or is smoking, that's what I would be doing right now, is having a cigarette or a glass of wine. And everybody does it socially. That's why it's so hard to detect as a dependence. I mean, I totally agree with everything you said.
What I have seen in the world is that this is not necessarily the case. Because a lot of the times this dependence occurs also when you're alone. There's a song, I drink alone, you know that one? So there is the social aspect is there. If all your friends are smokers, you're more apt to smoking and so on. So that cannot be denied. But let's just go back to the physical dependence for a moment. So it interacts with other drugs. If you stop it, it goes out quickly. It's fairly easy to beat the physical dependence. And so what you can do, or what a person can do, is to improve their general state of health physically. Because what you're really after is peace. That's what you want. You want happiness, you want peace. When you hype yourself up with coffee, you want a cigarette to calm yourself down. When you wake up and you're not feeling very well, for example, you smoke to get back to your normal level. So you want to feel good. That's what you want.
Is that what I'm doing it? Is that why I'm doing it?
I don't know. I think most people do smoke to feel good. Unfortunately, it makes them feel also miserable. And the vicious circle is that it just made you feel miserable, and then you smoke another cigarette to make yourself feel better. So it's endless. It's a really dead-end road. So you want to feel good. So the recommendation is to make yourself feel good without the cigarette. Take some vitamins, go for a walk. Don't, reduce your intake of unhealthy food, eat more healthy, more raw food, more vegetarian food. So when you improve the general health level of your body by eating well, sleeping well, exercising, taking good food, taking vitamins, whatever, your body feels better. Then you have less need on cigarettes to make you feel better, and the physiological dependence is easier to beat. So then the next subject is psychological dependence.
Yeah, which I can tell you something about.
Please do.
Is the thing is, what you said is totally makes sense. Wouldn't it be great if we were all capable of living that way? Which I would like to think that, unfortunately, there's a small group of people who actually lives that healthy, as you just said. Because most people I know, they either drink or smoke, or eat unhealthy food, greasy food.
I'm not going around preaching to people to go for walks and take vitamins C.
Oh, you don't?
No.
But then have the wrong.
No, I do talk to smokers about smoke, but I don't try to tell them to become something else.
Okay.
I try to tell them to understand what they are. There's a big difference.
What they do. Don't tell them what they are.
Or what they do, or what they are. What is, instead of what should be.
Okay. From your point of view.
No. What is what is. It doesn't matter if I see it or don't see it, or how I think of it. What is.
Okay.
It just glass is on the table. It's on the table. It doesn't. I can believe it's not on the table, but it's on the table.
Okay.
So, all I was saying about health was just we were talking about physical dependence and psychological dependence, which I believe are the two wings of this problem of smoking. On the physical dependence side, all I said was that it helped. First of all, it interacts with other drugs. Secondly, if you improve the general state of your health, of your physical body, then it's easier to get over the physical dependence. That's all I said. I didn't say anything more. I'm not trying to change the world out there.
Okay.
So that's it. Now with the psychological dependence, is it okay if we go into this?
Right, go right ahead.
Because this is the core of the difficulty.
Yes, it is.
If physical dependence is so easy to kick, you go cold turkey 2-3 days and you're grouchy or whatever, but you tie up your hands and then you're free from it.
Yeah, but it's still in your head.